This resource has been created to introduce you to eSurvey implementation for Share Strengths Cooking Matters at the Store. Thank you for taking the time to become acquainted with tablet use and how to navigate the new survey method. Throughout this presentation, we will cover the complete overview of the eSurvey process for Cooking Matters at the Store, logistics, how to navigate the eSurvey, and finally, we will conclude with key points to remember when assisting Cooking Matters participants with the eSurvey process. First things first, let's run through the overview of this method for collecting important Cooking Matters at the Store data. Answering 4 simple questions, what, when, why, and where, will give you a great introduction to the eSurvey process. Let's start with what. eSurvey is a new process for collecting data from participants to determine the effectiveness of a course. Instead of the traditional paper surveys that you may be currently used to, you will use an electronic version which has already been downloaded onto tablets. Each tour will have enough tablets for participants to complete the survey all at once. Let's move on to when. eSurveys will be required for collecting participant data effective January 1st of 2017. eSurveys will be implemented in standalone Cooking Matters store tours, or on the 5th week of a Cooking Matters families, adults, or parents course. After the Cooking Matters tour and before the $10 challenge, you will assist participants with completing the adults or WIC tour. They will have an option later to specify which tour. We will discuss this later in the presentation. Let's talk about why this change is important to the future of Cooking Matters programming. The current process of utilizing paper surveys requires interns to make copies of the surveys, volunteers to help with administering the surveys, staff to process the surveys and enter codes, attendance, and other information onto the surveys. And on top of that, we pay for shipping to the Share Strength National Office, where another intern scans each survey and the data is made available to us then quarterly. Wow, thanks for hanging in there. With the new eSurvey, we will eliminate copies, processing time on both sides, postage, and best of all, receive the data in real time, right after surveys are uploaded to the database with no waiting. The last W, where. This specific eSurvey will be implemented at the store. Your role is crucial in all of this. Here's where your help comes into play. This is a change, and we know that change can be scary. We hope this is an exciting change, and to be sure that it is as seamless as possible, we have created this video to help you better understand what is happening, why and how we are making this change, and what it means for you, our volunteer. During courses, you will be working with the other members of the volunteer team to help participants enter data and answer questions all together as a class. The course coordinator will lead the charge, and we hope that by completing the eSurvey altogether, it can be completed quickly so the participants can get on to the business of shopping for healthy meals. So let's move on to how this will logistically be implemented. Beginning at check-in, we will be providing participants with a welcome sheet that has information they will need to use when completing the tour survey. Tablets will be ready for participants to use, and the survey will be completed as a group. Following the tour, tablets will be returned to the Interfaith Food Shuttle office, and pre-course surveys will be uploaded into our database. We will then be able to quickly close out courses so that data is made available immediately. At check-in for Cooking Matters at the store, participants will receive Let's Shop sheets to complete with their names and initials as they arrive. Staff and volunteers will work together to ensure there are no duplicate initials and will fill in the remaining information, including course code, tour month, and tour type. Before participants arrive to the store or during the tour, available staff and volunteers will prepare the tablets. Please hold on to all tablets until the tour has ended. All participants will take the survey before taking the $10 challenge. Again, determine when will be an appropriate time to prepare the tablets, before participants arrive or during the tour. Begin by turning on the tablet. Do this by pressing the power button on the top right of the tablet. From the bottom of the screen, swipe up to access the home screen. Tap on the Qualtrics survey icon with the large red Q, which will open the app. Once you open the app, all of the pre- and post surveys will appear. Select the appropriate survey. Tour for adults or WIC parents, and the survey will launch, pictured here on the right. Once everyone has completed the tour, hand out the Let's Shop sheets and prepare tablets. As long as the tablets are not powered down, the application and survey will remain open even if the screen turns off. This will offer flexibility with timing to prepare the tablets. We will now move on to how this will logistically be implemented. Share Our Strength has developed a method for collecting information unique to each Cooking Matters participant. In order to close a course in our database, pre- and post surveys must be filled out using the unique ID components for each participant. There are 3 required fields for developing this unique identification used by Share Our Strength, and they include number 1, course code, 2, zip code, and 3, initials. Initials must be a minimum of 3 digits and a maximum of 4. Within a course, the only difference between unique IDs for participants will be their initials. As participants complete surveys without being connected to Wi-Fi, the Qualtrics application will not be able to determine whether or not the unique ID has already been used. Once staff or interns connect the tablets to the internet at Interfaith Food Shuttle and upload surveys, the data from a duplicate ID will not be uploaded and will therefore be lost. It is then of extreme importance to determine initials before survey implementation amongst participants in order to avoid the loss of data. Keeping in mind the required information, let's move on to the surveys. As a group, the participants will begin completing the tour survey questions that used to show up on an enrollment form and include the information they received on their Let's Shop sheet, so they will need to have this handy. First, participants will tap the green button labeled Take Survey. Second, participants will be able to select their preferred language for taking the survey, either English or Spanish. The default is English. The first required field on the enrollment form is the course code. Participants find this information on the Let's Shop sheet, pictured here on the left. The 7-digit code begins with 22. Participants tap on the box, and the keyboard is open below, where they will select the number keypad in the bottom left of the keyboard and then enter that 7-digit course code. Next, participants will tap on the partner code box and enter the numbers 22. Incidentally, this is the partner code for every Cooking Matters or Cooking Matters at the Store course. Lastly, participants will have to select their tour type, either adults or WIC, before moving on to the next page. The next page will have optional but recommended fields for participants. These include first and last name, city and state, telephone number and type of phone, either mobile, home, or work, and email address. The zip code is a required field for the unique ID, and the participants will not be able to advance to the next page until this information is provided. Please encourage participants to complete the email address if they have one, and phone number. Best practices for nutrition education programming include long-term follow-up opportunities with graduates of our programs, including focus groups or follow-up surveys. Often participation can include gift cards, groceries, or other incentives. However, if we do not have a way to contact them to offer these opportunities, they could miss out. Ultimately, it is their decision if they wish to share this information. Continuing as a group, staff and volunteers will guide participants to select whether or not they wish to receive shopping and cooking tips via email. The default is yes, so if they do not want this information, they should select no. Finally, the last item in the enrollment portion will complete each participant's unique ID. On the Let's Shop sheet, participants' initials were identified, either 3 or 4, and participants should refer to this sheet and enter the letters in the designated box on the survey. Then click Next. This concludes the enrollment section, and by selecting the Next button, participants will be directed to the tour survey and can complete the questions on their own. Again, the tour commences here, and participants will complete this section on their own. However, if you notice that participants are having difficulty using the tablet or keypad, please offer to assist. This is a new adventure for all of us, volunteers, participants, and staff alike. We want to make this change as smooth as possible. We recognize that some participants may have never used any technology in the past, and this survey could be intimidating. With your encouragement and assistance, we can make this transition seamless and stress-free for everyone. After answering questions on each page, participants should advance pages by again selecting the Next button. Please take note that there is no back button to return to previous questions. Please take a look at the page on the right. If the circular arrow at the top left of the screen is selected, a prompt to restart the entire survey, including enrollment information, will appear. Cancel unless it is necessary to restart the survey. The last page of the tour survey will require one last piece of information from the Let's Shop sheet. This is the 2-digit month, which staff and volunteers will have written in beforehand. Next, the participant should select Tablet as their device for filling out the survey. In courses and tours, we will only use tablets for consistency and convenience purposes. After selecting Tablet, a new question will appear regarding ease of tablet use. After completing questions, participants can select the Submit button. Once the participants complete the submission, the next screen will be the Thank You screen, which confirms that their responses were recorded. If this screen does not appear, the survey data has not been recorded. Require the participants to return the tablet with this Thank You screen open as a way to confirm the data was collected. Tablets can then be powered down and stored in the appropriate case to be returned to Interfaith Food Shuttle. Now the $10 challenge can begin. Once the tablets have been transported safely back to Interfaith Food Shuttle, immediately upload responses by connecting tablets to Wi-Fi. Open the Qualtrics application, then select the appropriate survey labeled Tour for Adults and WIC Parents. Lastly, select the blue tab labeled Upload Responses and ensure the number of recipient responses becomes the number of uploaded responses. You can exit the application and power down the tablets. Please place tablets in the charging station to restore their full charge. Great work! You have successfully uploaded the data to Share Strengths database to be used immediately for course evaluation and to enable the coordinator to properly close the tour. Last on our agenda, we will cover key points that will lead to successful implementation of e-surveys. Remember, this process is new for everyone. Patience and flexibility are key to the success of the e-survey process. If we are visibly stressed about this change or format, our participants will definitely be stressed. It will be important to look for cues that indicate if participants are struggling with the use of technology, reading, or the length of the survey. Feel free to jump in and maybe suggest answering the questions for them on the tablet while reading each question. Literacy challenges, length of the survey, and understanding the questions have always been issues that could come up in any class. The addition of technology as a medium for completing the survey can certainly add an additional layer of complexity for our participants. Your assistance and calm demeanor will help center them and remove any anxiety or feelings of being overwhelmed. The last thing we want is for participants to feel high anxiety or incompetence about the course from having to use technology to complete the survey at the store. Preparing tablets to be ready for survey administration will streamline the process, so let's be ready. And remember, participants will use the Let's Shop sheet to answer many of the enrollment section fields, which we will do together as a group. Then, participants can move at their own pace through the survey itself. If you have any questions about this process, please do not hesitate to reach out to our Cooking Matters team members at cookingmatters@foodshuttle.org and cm.outreach@foodshuttle.org. Thank you for viewing this presentation. We truly appreciate your time and dedication to making Cooking Matters at the store as successful as possible.